I'm Grady.
And I'm Charisse.
And welcome to Highlights, a show where we recap a reality competition show, usually a drag one, like it's sports, even though it's really not. In this season, we are covering All-Star 7, our legendary All-Star winner season. And we are one more person down again this week. This time, Zach is out, but he will be back next week. He just had some scheduling difficulties this particular time. Let's dive into this. Previously on Drag Race. Last week's episode was the Realness of Fortune Ball, where they were tasked with bringing and creating one out of the three looks that they had to bring to the runway, most of which were game show themed, kind of. The theme was a little thrown together for me, but we'll talk about that in a second. The episode opens up, though, with a mini challenge. We didn't get one last time. We're getting one this time. And they played a game of Hangman, where they had to solve a puzzle, kind of Wheel of Fortune style. And it was an okay challenge. They didn't really do much. It was just them kind of standing there playing Hangman for a little bit. And Jinx solved the puzzle. However, she doesn't win any money, and that's because they have some money on the table for the next piece, which is kind of a second mini challenge. We kind of got two. It was a little weird. But when Rue dishes out the challenge, they all then have to pick what materials they're going to use, and they do that via a wheel. So when they spin this wheel, they get a color that's based on kind of like a location, and that gives them kind of like the color and materials and things that they get to work, the pile that they get assigned, essentially. And when they pick locations off of the wheel, things are underneath. So it's like a bankrupt thing underneath. There's also some cash prizes on the wheel, which is interesting. And for the most part, this is done entirely by chance. So, they are told that the three looks they have to bring are Vanna White Realness, game show host Glamour Before and After, and then the Realness of Fortune Eleganza, which is the one they have to create based on whatever they get from this wheel activity.
For sure. So it took a really long time through this episode before things finally started to make sense.
Right.
The game of Hangman, I was like, wow, this is really not dynamic for TV. Like, as audience members, like, what are we supposed to be doing right now? Like, I used to watch Wheel of Fortune all the time as a child, like all the time. It was one of the 6 channels. That's right. I said 6 channels that we could watch that we had on our TV as a homeschooler when I was young. So Wheel of Fortune was totally fine. And Vanna White was the most glamorous woman on TV, as far as I'm concerned. Right. Mm-hmm. And when I think it was Shea Coulee and Jada that were like, and Trinity, this is the ultimate pageant queen. She is. And she's
That's so
beautiful
true.
And stunning and just there to model some letters on a lit up board. And she does it so magically. I love her. So yeah, Vanna White Realness. I was totally here for it. Totally here for it. Loved the spinning of the game. Loved the prizes underneath. I was totally on board for this episode, but it took a solid 45 minutes before I was like, oh yeah, I get it now.
Absolutely. I was bored until the wheel. Like, you were totally right. And I almost wish they had done them together somehow. Like Wheel of Fortune. It was, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ooh, but maybe, is it copyrighted or something in some way?
They might have. Yeah, probably. Now that you're thinking about it. That being said, yeah, because you know what? We'll talk about it later, but when Rue introduces her, he talks about her being on America's Game Show or something like that, and he never specifically names the show, and I wonder if they're not allowed to. Spinning the wheel, here's the colors that they get assigned. So Jinx gets purple, Shea gets white, Monet gets green, Jada gets black, Raja gets gold, Evie gets pink, the Vivian gets blue, and Trinity gets red. Also, in terms of the money that was on the board, Evie initially gets some of that, but then hits a bankrupt, which was very sad. Then the Vivian gets $1,500 total after she lands on a couple of them, which was pretty cool. Also, already more than she ever got for winning Drag Race UK, because they don't give any prize money at all over there. So she finally won some Drag Race money, and all she had to do was spin a wheel. So that's pretty nice.
It's true. I'm excited. Congratulations, the Vivian. I am
Yeah.
so excited for you to make it to the board. Make it to the board.
Yes. Jinx is the main one who's concerned. She was not a sewer on her season.
Whoa. Concerned is an understatement.
That's true.
I was like stressed for her during this part.
I know.
Once she started doing things, and then I saw the caliber of what other people were capable of, I was like, oh, I think I might need a paper bag. I think I might hyperventilate during this episode. Remember to breathe. Remember to breathe.
And even her walkthrough, she was like, well, if I braid it, it'll look like this. And Rue was like, uh-huh.
She has decent style when she doesn't have to put it together.
Okay, so get into the main stage. Rue's look, I really liked this week. She had this like really kind of thin, floral pink kind of thing going on. Nothing wild or like, out of the box for her, but it just looked really good on her this week. And I was really pleased to see that.
Everyone on the judges panel
Absolutely
looked stunning this week. Stunning.
Absolutely
Beautiful. And I did not catch the name of the guest judge. She beautiful. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she looks fantastic.
She was wearing art. Just stunning. Oh my gosh, so excited.
Yes.
Loved her critique. So excited for this. I need to look up what
Yes.
she's on. I feel like she's an actress. Somebody said something.
Yeah, she's Kirby Howell Baptiste. She's an actress. She's on Why Women Kill. And she was also in something else that Cruella. She just did the Cruella film. Really, she's a really good actress anyway, but yeah, she looked phenomenal. And it seems like, just like Cameron Diaz, she actually really watches this show. She can reference it. She understands it. She's happy to be there. And I live for those kind of judges. Now, getting to the runway piece, I'm very excited about this. So, first category, Vanna White Realness. And first to the runway is Vanna White herself, who just looked amazing. And I love that she did an actual runway walk, just like she's one of the queens. It was so great. She seemed also just really happy to be there and was having just the best time. I kind of wish she had been an official guest judge. I don't know if she didn't want to be judging or something like that, or maybe they just, they were already booked. But I love that she camped out just kind of like by the stage. They didn't even put her up in a seat. She just kind of stood there while everybody walked out. It was just so good. She looked great.
Well, tiny little secret. When your garment is that fitted, sometimes you literally can't sit down.
True.
So there is that. And Vanna White is that realness. And you never, ever see her sit down.
That's true. Maybe that's like her thing. I suppose that's her brand.
But I'm surprised they didn't have her stand next to anything, or, you know what I mean? But I love that they had her there. I was so excited. And if you're a super fan of this show, you absolutely deserve to be a guest judge. Please. That counts. That makes you, that gives you cred. As far as the guest judge, you said her name. Something Baptiste.
Kirby Howell Baptiste. Yes.
Kirby Howell Baptiste.
Yeah.
Absolutely deserves to be a guest judge if she's a super fan.
Sure.
Because that gives you guest judge status for sure. Credibility.
Yeah. Absolutely. Jinx came out first out of all the queens, and gotta say, one, she came out in like a Halloween type dress, like this black number that Vanna White, and almost kind of very close to what Vanna was wearing. And she also had the best reaction to seeing Vanna, in my opinion. Just the laugh she lets out, realizing it's Vanna White just kind of standing at the end waiting for her. So hilarious. I love Jinx so much. But I actually really liked her look. It was, whatever. I wouldn't necessarily see it and go, oh, that's a Vanna White look or something like that. But at the same time, I don't know many things where I could look at something and go, that's Vanna White. Vanna White is kind of just like an entity in of herself because of her gestures, her movements, what she does, the pageantry that goes along with what she's wearing, the attitude that comes with that. So I thought this was fine. I thought it was good.
I agree. Jinx absolutely had a fantastic reaction, but Jinx had to go first because that lavender number needed to go down the runway first. So we got it out of the way. Like it just needed to happen.
Exactly.
So, and then it was nicely out of frame during the group shot. So I thought the black dress that she wore was nice. It was kind of Vanna, but Jinx even literally referenced it herself. You hardly ever see Vanna wearing something black. And when she is, it is sparkly to the nines because you have to stand out. And like Jada pointed out, there needs to be texture and something else. But like, I don't know. It was nice though. It was only kind of Vanna for me though. It only kind of checked the box in the assignment.
I agree. And if we can just do all three categories, queen by queen, her before and after, I thought was genius and a good makeup for maybe what the other two lacked. It was whatever happened to baby Jane Fonda.
It was super funny. I giggled so hard when she, and it did definitely make up for what she kind of did. Like I said, number one was kinda, number two was super funny, and I appreciate it, right? Like I needed a little bit of camp humor and, Seattle Queen realness, brought to the stage.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Her realness of Fortune Eleganza, the purple Grecian braided hot glue. She knew it didn't work.
So it was Grecian in that it was a tragedy, right? Like that's what tied the two together. And thank you so much, Trinity, for even salvaging what that was and for even seeing the direction of where Jinx was going. Jinx, one place to start is just do a small little sketch. And then when you get confused and you forget kind of where you're going and you get tired, you have that to look back to and to reference. And it helps. It really does. I'm not even going to lie. When you're constructing something and you have a vision and you know exactly where you want to go, like Raja said, spend some time with the materials. Just get into it. It's no big deal. You can do this.
Right. So next we have Shea Coulee, and her Vanna White realness was this pink number.
It was, again, I loved it. I love the dress. And it was kind of Vanna White. It was definitely more Vanna White. It was more Vanna White than what Jinx gave me, for sure.
Absolutely.
And I appreciated her reaction to Vanna White, for sure. And she was giving me Vanna White. She was giving me pageant queen.
Yeah, she was doing really well. I like the little bow that's on the front, little pink bow. It's very cute. And Shea knows how to model a garment either way, but this was just really good. Yeah. Really good stuff. Her before and after was Gold Tooth Fairy, which to me wasn't as strong as the others, but some behind the scenes stuff she put out as soon as the episode aired was she had wanted to do something different, and they told her, I can't remember who she wanted to reference, but they had told her she couldn't use celebrity names or trademarked characters or anything like that. So she was a little perturbed when they filmed to realize every single other person was allowed to do that.
Really though.
Yeah.
Really though. Okay, so I loved her looks and I loved Jada's looks this week. Like they were fantastic for me, all three. Like they hit the boxes 3 out of 3. They would have been my winners. And then I was like, oh, Shea's blocked. I forgot. Never mind. I don't know who I would put like as a winner now. Like it didn't even cross my mind that Shea was blocked this week.
Yeah.
I totally forgot all about it. So yeah.
Her realness of Fortune Eleganza though, which was the white bridal moment, really great. I enjoyed it a lot. She does a lot of things with culture and background and story in her creations and for her kind of fashion choices, and I really appreciate that about Shay. It's there's something always like really intelligent about it, and so I really like what she did. It wasn't my favorite of the night, but I really loved how it turned out. Most of them were very, very strong anyway, so this white bridal number on any other season I think would have destroyed. you know
Oh, absolutely.
So good.
I liked the bridal outfit. I thought it was beautiful. I definitely liked the way that it restarted the runway after Jinx's monsoon that came down.
Sure.
The lavender monsoon that came down the runway.
Lavender monsoon.
Like, I appreciate the fact that certain queens took not only the color, but the place where the swatch came from, as far as like, this is where we got the inspiration, and this is the White Cliffs of Dover, and this is like, she tied into everything in the same way that Jada Essence Hall tied the third runway into everything, the Realness of Fortune,
right.
And that's, as an audience member, what puts me over the top, and like, I'm here for it every single time. So right. It might not necessarily have been like, oh my gosh, the best dress in the world, but the fact that she tied all of those things together still made it so lovely. You sold the garment, had a whole story. Like, that's what a winner is. That's charisma right there.
Absolutely. It was so good. Monet Exchange, her Vanna White Realness was a pretty simple dress. It had the slit all the way up the thigh. I think it was just something she had, and she was like, this will work for Vanna White Realness, and put it on. To be honest with you, is kind of how it felt. She got a lot of praise for it, maybe because of the winner's edit, but it was probably the weakest of the Vanna Whites for me.
I would absolutely have to agree. I was really disappointed with all of Monet, every single one of Monet's runways this week. And for a winner's season, I was really hoping for more.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna are we giving this the winner's edit, or am I just gonna slash and burn? Because I honestly, I've been trying to think about which way I want to go and who I want to be in this life, and I'm just not sure right now. Because what I wrote down was
Yeah,
I wrote the slit is wrong. It's okay. It's not Vanna though. It's not Vanna at all. I didn't feel any Vanna about it, and I think that's where I'm gonna leave it, because I'm not trying to. But yeah, just know that on a regular season, shredded.
Oh
shredded. I would have come for every single one of these runways.
Oh
every
my
single
god!
One of these runways. Thank you.
Her before and after was Bob the Drag Queen Elizabeth. And she walked in with the little purse first, and then, I don't know, broke character, snapped out. I don't know if she was switching to Bob or whatever she thought she was doing. I'm going to talk about her in a second, and not to get off track, but Raja got kind of red for being like 90% one and not enough of the other during this particular category. And that's kind of how I felt here. I didn't really understand where the Bob was really coming through, other than that she already kind of resembles Bob and has some mannerisms that are Bob-ish. But to me, it was like 90% Queen Elizabeth. And then if she hadn't done the little purse first, it's like there's no Bob in it. Personally, I don't know. This was not my favorite either.
I giggled because she embraced the Bob the Drag Queen reference, the fact that everybody,
right,
whatever, yeah, I don't remember, because she said something about everybody mistakes her for Bob the Drag Queen, or something like that,
right.
But in my mind, they're two totally different people.
It's same.
I would not mistake them in any way, but right. I appreciated the fact that she embraced that kind. It did make me giggle, but it was not my favorite of the night, but it made me giggle. I appreciated that.
Yeah. I guess I just took it more as like an excuse for her not to do 2 looks in one, and to be able to just kind of throw one on and be like, well, I get mistaken for Bob, so the other one is Bob. No, that's really not what I'm looking for there, but okay. Her Realness of Fortune Eleganza, the green outfit, she did like this 70s dance disco thing with the cold thighs and the cold shoulders. I didn't hate it, and as Carson said, it's very Monet. It's something like Monet would typically wear, and I agree with that. It felt like it read very Monet Exchange to me. Wasn't my favorite of the night, but it was fine to me.
I thought it was okay. This is one of the times where I was like, oh, is she going to take it to Dublin? Or is she going to keep it? You know what I mean? Like, is she going to follow the theme all the way through the way certain queens did? Or is she not?
Right.
It was okay. It was okay. She looked nice. I liked the wig. Her makeup was flawless.
Moving right along to Jada Essence Hall. So her Vanna White Realness. I loved her dress. I loved her in this blonde wig too, which she normally is not her go-to. Not that she's never done it, but it's really not her go-to. And I liked her trying to really step into a Vanna, and the way she sold it, the mannerisms, complete with the sound effects, hilarious. So Jada, but also so Vanna. Had an amazing reaction to seeing Vanna. Vanna seemed to really enjoy her. I loved it.
This was so lovely. This was Vanna White. This was Vanna White on the runway. It was fantastic. I appreciated those sound effects. I giggled so much.
Ding.
Like everything, the mannerisms on the runway, all like I just could not get enough of this Vanna White realness. Like oh my gosh, this is the Vanna White that I remember as a child. Like, thank you, Jada, for that.
Yeah, it was so good. Her Realness of Fortune Eleganza. Oh no, sorry, I skipped one. Her before and after, the bag lady in red, I want to talk about first. We've seen a few bag ladies in Drag Race past. Lavrie not to be overshadowed.
So this is another one that's not a celebrity or whatever. Like, a bag lady is completely just nondescript, and she took this to the moon.
Yeah, she did really well with this. And I was a little worried because I was like, what is, typically when bags are involved, it's just not stuff I like. Lavrie, Gottmik had which she got a lot of praise for, but a lot of people have been bringing up recently and shredding it, which I think it kind of deserves, where she just kind of straps some backpacks to her leg. This I thought was done really well. They were really chic looking bags. You almost couldn't tell from far away that they were there. It was so good. And the way she sold it and the functionality of it all, it was just so good. Very gorgeous. Gorgeous dress.
This was fantastic. This was beautiful, and it made me laugh. Like, I didn't know that Jada Essence could kind of do camp. Yeah. Like with the Twizzler and the fact that she had fit so many different kinds of bags into that garment to make it look so beautiful. And the zippers, I loved this so much.
Her Realness of Fortune Eleganza, the black number. Also, one of the things that when we talk about balls in Drag Race and they have to make one of their looks, is we don't want to be able to tell that they made it. That's the one thing that we always use as kind of like a bar and a benchmark for our critiques. And I thought someone had made this for her. Like, it just looked great. And I felt a lot of the queens really were able to nail that. Really, really true marks of some winners. And Jada was definitely one of them. This was one of the greatest things that's ever walked out there. It was just so good. And that she made it in such little time with those limited materials. Just impeccable stuff.
Jada was my winner on her season. I was so excited when she won that lip sync. I was so ready for it. And then the pandemic hit. And I was like, how dare you crush that queen's
I know.
royal tour? She has been crowned She deserves to be loved by everyone. How dare you? Like, I really, like, I am so excited for everything that she's doing right now. Like, get it, Jada. It took her a little bit to warm up, but dude, she is here. And like, whoa. The black number that she came out in, it was black and sand and like sea creature and queen and couture and fortune and rich and eleganza and everything.
Yep.
It was so fantastic. There is nothing that I would add or detract from this. It was perfection.
Next up was Braja. Her Vanna White Realness, probably my favorite out of all of them, only because it's literally identical to something Vanna White has worn previously. And it's a very specific era of Vanna White where I think, you know, she's probably kind of like at her peak in game show host form. And I do mean host because I really think Wheel is nothing without her and Pat. Like, it's just, like if you take either one of them out of that equation, it's like it just doesn't work anymore. It was just perfect. It was spot on, so good, and to do it in front of Vanna, I think was just so cool.
This look is iconic. This is iconic, classic, throwback Vanna White.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fun. This is the Vanna that I remember before she moved into Trinity's Vanna White phase, right? Like there was a little bit, but like early 90s, this is it. Yeah. And I love all phases of Vanna White. Please don't think that I think Vanna, like she's beautiful in everything and anything.
Right.
But this was such a fun look.
Raja's before and after was Olivia Newton-John Waters. Really fun concept. I do not think this worked. One, I think John Waters is hard to pull off in something like this anyway. But I will agree it was definitely like an Olivia Newton-John costume, and she put on a mustache, which you could barely see. And she needed something that was going to be easier read on the runway and was going to be easier to combo together.
Seriously. And compared to Raja, like on her season, I was like, whoa, she slaughtered every single runway.
Yeah.
Whether she had made it or whether she brought it, it didn't matter how simple or how whatever. And this look was okay.
Yeah.
It was cute. It was cute, but not enough John Waters. And if you're going to try to give me before and after, and if you're going to throw down that hard for Vanna White, I'm going to need all three runways to have that much thought and creation. And like, I just like I said, I had a really difficult time coming up with another winner after I remembered that Shay was blocked, because Jada and Shay just did the best on every single one for me.
Her Realness of Fortune Eleganza, though, in the gold, really loved that. I thought that was awesome. Again, couldn't tell it was made. Especially in such a short amount of time. She's always really good at constructing and making and designing and all of that stuff. And she's really good at always kind of coming up with a vision and executing that. And I really loved this look.
Absolutely. One of the things I love about Raja is she absolutely sells it. I loved the top of this dress. Yeah. I loved the top of this dress. I thought the bottom was a little heavy, but I love the way that she just brings everything. When she brought the glasses, like all of it, it just never feels like it's too much. And I feel like if I tried to wear something like that out, I'd be like, God, it's too much. But she just always with such confidence. So I appreciate Raja for that.
Yeah. Next was Evie Oddly in her Vanna White Realness. Not for me.
I applaud the judges for having something nice to say about that. When I heard Michelle say that green and red, the green dress and the red wig go well together, I was like, wow, Michelle, you found a compliment. I couldn't even I couldn't even do it. Like I
Yeah.
just sighed when she turned around the corner, and and in front of Vanna White, I was kind of embarrassed as an audience member.
Yeah. Her before and after was Cardi B Arthur. Genius. I actually really liked that. I thought that was hilarious. The best part of this kind of category is being able to put two things that clearly would never go together. And that was just so good. And the way she revealed from one into the other, that's kind of what I needed from Raja's. That's, I really appreciated that whole thing. I loved it.
This was fantastic.
Yeah.
This was super funny. The transitions, all of it. This is what I needed the Vanna White to be. Oh my goodness. Evie Oddly, like this. Like I said, a lot of people hit 2 out of 3 for me.
Mhm.
And I appreciated so much of the camp. Like I just needed a giggle this year or this week and this year in general, even though that's true too. But yeah, I'm always here for a ball. It's always my favorite episode. I live for the balls. That's right, I said it.
Her Realness of Fortune Eleganza, the pink punk number. I thought it was okay. I liked a lot of elements of it, but I could kind of tell that she had thrown it together or kind of crafted it, which kind of took me out of it a lot of the time. And the giant cape, which I felt was kind of designed to kind of hide a lot of the flaws. It just wasn't it overall for me, but I thought it was okay.
I liked this. It was cute, and I could see where she was going, and maybe with a little bit better construction, it would have been super fantastic. But yeah, she pretty much only hit 1.5 of the runways for me during this ball.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't quite eleganza.
Yeah. Next up, we had the Vivienne. Her Vanna White was okay. I wasn't like screaming about it, but it for sure wasn't the worst one of the night either. But it was okay. I like that it was a little velvety kind of number and things like that. And I really appreciated the wig, which I felt like she was trying to make an effort to be a little more Vanna, which I liked and appreciated. I don't know. There's just something about it where I was like, it's not the top, not the bottom, but she was somewhere in the middle for me with that category.
100% agree. She's absolutely in the middle for me. It was a great dress, not Vanna White, but it was okay.
Right.
She at least Googled her. It was way better than Evie Oddly's.
Yes.
Like all of the Vivienne's runways hit somewhere in the middle for me, except for the second one, the before and after. I don't remember what she did, but I wrote down yes. I freaking love this.
Yeah. So Vivienne's before and after was Princess Diana Ross. And it was very enjoyable. It was a lot of fun. And I think I like things that don't typically go together, so I thought it was pretty cool. Wasn't my favorite of the category there either, but I thought it was definitely really entertaining for sure.
It was definitely entertaining. Like I said, I appreciated that some of the queens threw in some really fancy camp.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really appreciated that camp doesn't have to be trashy all the time, because it doesn't. Yeah. It can be. It's no big deal. I'm not here to judge that. You know what I mean? But I thought it was funny. I thought it was fun.
And her Realness of Fortune Eleganza number, the blue, very simple dress, but as several people pointed out, it was kind of like a Rue dress, which is also a smart move on Drag Race. Do something that really speaks to RuPaul and RuPaul's kind of taste. Compared to the others where like I wasn't as impressed necessarily as like compared to like someone like Jada's, for example, where just there were so many different things where you could tell like the amount of effort and talent and all of that stuff that had to go into that was just so good. Vivian, I would compare it to kind of like what Bianca did, where Bianca was able to just kind of make the same dress she always wears. You know what I mean? And you know, she did it and it was fine. It was great. I felt it was kind of the same thing here. She did something that she knew she at least could do and just opted to do that really well. And I think that worked in her favor. I thought it was a good dress, very simple, very clean, very chic, you know, looking dress. But, you know, it was good.
For sure, it was beautiful. And heaven forbid if she had added anything to it, like the things
True.
that were in her hand.
Yeah.
Like she left it just the way that it needed to be. That, you know what I mean? It was beautiful. I feel she hit in the middle. She is a winner. Please don't let me take anything away from her. Like that is not what I mean. But it just hit somewhere in the middle. I'm glad none of them are going home. I'm glad we get to see them every week.
Right.
Yeah.
Next up was Trinity. So her Vanna White Realness was whatever for me. It was not bad, but again, it was just kind of like middle ground for me. It was something a little more modern, I think, and didn't necessarily scream Vanna White, which I think is hard to do anyway. But it was all right.
It was the heavy jewelry on the wrist that threw you.
Yeah, it was something. It's like it's not styled. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
And without the one wrist with the heavy green bracelet on. And if she had been doing Vanna White mannerisms, and done a little bit of a pageant walk, because the way Vanna White walks across the stage is she keeps whatever part of the dress has something fantastic on it. The slit, the bow, the whatever, it's always facing you as she walks, unless it's on the back of the dress.
Right.
And then, but you still find a way to see it. She still kicks the train out. It's this beautiful way of walking that Brooklyn Heights can do. I mean, she looked beautiful.
Yeah, she was
great.
It
was Vanna White closeness.
Yeah. I love that Vanna White closeness. Her before and after, RuPaul Charles II. It was a reach. I thought it was hilarious that she even did it though. And I loved that she owned it. She was like, I don't really know who Charles II is. I don't really care. You know, it is what it is. You could tell why she chose what she chose. She's not shy about it. It was fun, at least, I guess. It was hard to really see the two in there. One, because I don't necessarily think Trinity knows how to scream RuPaul, you know, in terms of playing RuPaul. And also, how do you bring Charles II personality into the runway? The thing is she didn't and you don't. So it was a bit of a reach for me, but I enjoyed it anyway for some reason.
I would have to agree. I thought it was funny. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I had a very difficult time picking another winner that wasn't Shea Coulee.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the runways were just kind of like, eh.
Her Realness of Fortune, the red number. Amazing. The fact that she did this and then also helped build almost everybody else's is just insane.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. So, what I wanted to talk to Zach about this week was Deja Skye. And the fact that all of these queens don't necessarily aren't seamstresses, but they don't claim to be out of the majority of them there, right? They don't make their own garments. They don't do this all the time. It's not what they do, right? They make enough money. They have stuff made. Good for them. Fantastic. I applaud you. Their dresses were fitted. Trinity's dress hugged her curves like nobody's business. The Viv's dress hugged her curves like nobody's business. Raja's dress hugged her form. Even Jinx's Lavender Monsoon had shape.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like it still was fitted to the person. So yeah, I definitely need Zach to come back next week so we can talk about it.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah.
Lengthy runway this week, but we find out, of course, everybody gets the winner's edit. There are no bottoms. Everybody's at least safe, but we do find out that the highs of the week are Jada, Shay, Raja, and Trinity, which I definitely agree with. And the top 2 winning the challenge, each winning and getting a legendary legend star, are Trinity and Jada. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Trinity worked super hard for this after getting blocked.
Oh, for
and
sure.
Jada worked really hard for it as well. Like, I definitely agree with this. I really like this runway.
And Trinity is immediately intimidated, though, because they know that the lip sync song is Green Light by Beyonce, and she's going up against Jada Essence Hall. And I think Trinity knew immediately she probably wasn't winning this lip sync. So Jada wins the lip sync, wins a $10,000 cash tip, and the power to block. And she chooses to block Jinx Monsoon. Do you agree with her choice?
I do. Honestly, you can block
For sure.
anyone at this point, and you might as well pick somebody that has a star already.
Okay. Time for top tweets. Okay, and now getting into the scoreboard real quick. So, in terms of cash prize winnings, All Stars likes to throw out money. Jinx has $12,500 so far. Shay has $10,000. Jada also now has $10,000. Good for her. And the Vivian has a cute little $1,500 after today's mini challenge. For stats, so in terms of overall performance in the competition, Trinity actually is doing the strongest. She has 2 challenge wins under her belt, and she's placed very high even when she has not won. Shay also has placed very high even when she hasn't won, though she only has 1 challenge win under her belt. She's coming in second. Jada, Jinx, and Monet all doing same across the board, 1 challenge win under their belt as well. Raja in 4th place, placing high, never snagging a win. Evie coming in 5th, and Vivian dead last so far. That being said, the only thing that really matters in this competition are the legendary legend stars, of which Trinity, Shay, Jada, Jinx, Monet all have 1 star each. So it's still pretty much anybody's competition at this point. That's pretty much it. We're all caught up. So if you would like to check out any past coverage of All-Star 7 or any ongoing coverage of All-Star 7, you can check that out right here on the PG Media channel. Subscribe today so you do not miss out. You can also follow PG Media on social media. Sometimes we post there, sometimes we don't, but you can find that information in the description below. And with that being said, as always,
thank you for watching highlights.
and we'll see you next time.